Said of Peter Dutton that people know where he stands, that you don't think anyone will be accusing him of being something that he's not. How would you describe him as a political leader?
I think strong, purposeful, steady. You want somebody who's steady. He's well-grounded. You can't serve almost a decade in the police force without seeing life often at its worst, but also sometimes pleasingly at its best. And my association with him, and it started when he entered Parliament, when he successfully defeated Cheryl Kernot for the seat of Dixon and held it through successive elections, and along with all those other wonderful Queenslanders, they certainly have known how to vote in the past.
Now, energy is a massive issue in this campaign, a big challenge for the country, prices of electricity and security of supply. You were Prime Minister who did the deal with the Greens to outlaw domestic nuclear energy in this country. Was that a mistake? Do we need to fix it? And realistically, if any modern economy is going to cut their emissions to effectively zero, isn't nuclear energy imperative?
Well, if I can start with what we did some years ago, the reason I did that deal with the Greens and others was to get it through the Senate. And I had to get through a piece of legislation that renewed the nuclear energy facility, which was vital to the treatment of certain forms of cancer at leukocytes. And without that legislation, we'd have lost our nuclear medicine capacity. And why on earth the Labor Party thought it was helping the country to say, no, we're not going to support you. So, of course, I thought and refused, much and all as I didn't like it, with the Greens and others. Now, was that a mistake then? I think in the context at the time, no. It was the only way we had of renewing the nuclear medicine facility. Now, of course, it should be lifted. We should, and we have been advocating and very wisely asserting the need for nuclear power as part of the mix.
Modern economies that are trying to reduce their emissions are all looking to nuclear, aren't they? I mean, well, sure, we could use all the gas.
And some of them are returning to it.
Exactly. So it's inevitable in Australia, isn't it?
Well, it is. And we have 38% of the world's easily recoverable uranium reserves. And the amazing thing is that we are busily dismantling natural advantages that Providence gave us with fossil fuels, uranium, natural gas, although Peter Dutton's got a very good plan on natural gas, and coal, of course.
Yeah, some of our largest exports and our most important exports, we have Greens and Labor politicians who don't want us to use them ourselves.
No, that's true. And on top of that, from a humanitarian point of view, we've probably seen more people lifted out of poverty in the last 20 or 30 years since the Industrial Revolution. And that's largely because of the ready availability of electricity in countries such as China and India and parts of Africa. Now, we're walking away from that. That doesn't make any humanitarian sense to me. I thought our mission as a wealthy, successful country was to help the less fortunate, and apparently not.
Now, apart from energy, there are tax offers from both sides. Labor, a 1% cut in the lowest tax rate in just over a year's time. Peter Dutton, immediate relief through a cut, a halving of petrol tax excise. Are either of these affordable or useful?
Well, I take it in isolation. Both are affordable. I think the excise cut is better, not because it's come from the Liberals, it's just immediate, and it affects everybody. We are a car-driving and owning democracy. Think of those outer suburbs of the big cities. People drive all the time. And some drive electric vehicles, but not many. And I just think that it is immediate. As somebody put it, I think it may have been Angus Taylor, he said what the Labor Party is offering is a cut of, what, 70 cents?
70 cents a day.
70 cents a day in a year's time. That doesn't sound very generous to me.
Well, finally then, Mr Howard, can the Coalition win this election? They would need to take seats off Labor, obviously, but probably off Teals and maybe even the Greens as well.
Well, there are 3 Green seats up for grabs in Queensland, and I think we have a good chance of picking up 1 or 2 of those. I hope a lot. Look, I think it can. It's hard to pick. I mean, I can say, oh, you know, of course we're going to win. History is still against it, but we have got a Prime Minister who's clearly out of his depth, and we have a situation where in less than 3 years the economic situation has deteriorated, and I think there's a real possibility that you may get a bigger movement in the Teals, rather, a bigger movement in the Teal-held seats. People expect. A lot of the predictions are based on the Teals all hanging on. Well, I'm not sure that's going to happen. I think a lot of people who voted for the Teals did so because they were grumpy for one or other reason with the Liberals. I don't think that's the case now. I think they like Dutton. I think they see in Dutton an unexpectedly strong, serious leader. I mean, he's a serious player, and he gives the impression of somebody who's been around, is not full of himself, and does understand the good and the bad in society, and I like that.
Mr Howard, thanks so much for joining us. I know you're going to be out there on the campaign trail, so have a good few weeks ahead.
I will.
Yeah, John Howard there, very realistic about the prospects, says history is a challenge for the Coalition, but the Prime Minister is out of his depth. The economic situation has deteriorated badly over the past 3 years, and the Teals could fall by the wayside. We shall see. Great to talk to him.